Hello, people. How you doing today? Tom Lavecchia has joined us, and he's put Lee's personal assistance. But I like to thank Tom. He's been helping us a lot lately, and we really appreciate that, Tom. Thank you.
My pleasure.
And we got James here, my partner.
Hey, hey, good morning.
How you doing?
Hey, doing very good. And Tom, thank you for coming on.
Always my pleasure.
So we're gonna have a. The name of the show is Triggered, and the reason because there's been a lot of triggering going on, and I just want people's honest opinion. Tom, we have not really spoken this. You're going to say whatever you want to say. But here's the thing. Joey Merlino's come on this format, and he said a long time ago that uh, he's made it clear that he won't go on platforms of people that already interviewed informants. I respect that. I got a hold of him. I said, I even told him in a conversation, I respect that. But yet, you have a couple guys that seemed like it really bothered. They were under the assumption that they were going to be able to get an interview with him. I think that once they realized they couldn't get that interview, they turned on him. After being so nice and talking so highly about him for so long, I consider that triggered. Tom, what's your personal opinion on it?
Yeah, so I just responded to a client. I my personal belief, my personal opinion is that when they launched your show, there were certain creators that felt that they were going to get him on the show, that they were going to kind of be their kind of cheerleader and that kind of stuff. And then when that didn't happen, and I didn't see the whole show, I just saw what we did with you and Angel the other day because I kind of can't stand to watch it. It's kind of turned his back on them, and most likely, in my personal opinion, so before anybody gets goes nuts, in my personal opinion, I think it was because they were butthurt that he wouldn't go on the show.
And what they did that was what was worse was the fact that they continued doing it the way they were doing it. It was
Well,
like, okay, it
yeah,
wasn't like there was any changes trying to be made. And I'm not going to keep,
yeah,
Tom, you interviewed informants. I
yeah,
have, and that's it. I don't anymore. You
yeah,
still will because we have two different type of shows. Uh, but the fact of the matter is, we don't attack Joey Merlino because of his beliefs, especially on something like that. And then the way that Scott Bernstein attacked him was so hardcore. I mean, using words that extortion for accepting, and then he would say, "Well, I don't really mean it like that." But once that word extortion comes out, you do mean it that way, don't you, Tom?
yeah. So there's a lot to unpack. So the first part is, and I want to clarify something that although I have interviewed informants in the past, and listen, I quote Voltaire: "I may not believe in what you believe, but I'll die for the right for you to believe it and say it." So, like, even though somebody may differ in opinion from me, I respect their opinion tremendously. I just only ask that you respect mine. So I want to give a quick color to that. Yes, I've interviewed informants in the past. Am I open to interviewing informants in the past? After Angel's show, I have a little bit of a different philosophy. I'm going to be more stringent. I'm going to be tougher. I think it was before I was on Angel's show, but I did have Dom Scali on, and I did my best to put him through the ringer. It's on my new Mobsters channel, and I really tried my best there. Now, to unpack what happened with Scott Bernstein is I'm a big fan of Scott's. I think he wrote one of the most important books in the space. He's the walking encyclopedia is his moniker. But the little bit that I did see and what I heard he say, in my personal opinion, I felt it was very off brand for Scott, and I was a little surprised.
James, how do you feel? You've heard it for the first time, and we're just talking about Scott. We're not talking about anybody else. We're not going to give him that pleasure.
Yeah, so a couple of things that's interesting to me just from this. So we have these guys that. So we have Joey Merlino now. He's got a show. It's obviously successful. What 40,000 plus subscribers in 3 months or whatever it is, and so he's obviously doing well. But it's interesting when listening to uh, the interview on Patreon, which obviously you have to be a Patreon member to see. But what's interesting is that is what Joey Merlino went through to come up with uh, this podcast per se that he's doing. And so it's interesting. We interviewed or we had other people come on and say that, oh, Joey and I were working on putting a show together. And so, Tommy Stiggs, for example, said that on our show. And now we hear that the same with Jeff Nadeau and Bernstein. And so, it's obvious that for whatever reason, Merlino went a different direction with Action Park Media to do his show. And it makes sense when you understand who that brand is, who is backing him, these are the same people that did Entourage and all of that. And so I think that you have to look at it differently, that Joey has his brand. He has to surround himself with what makes sense. And also, he's got, he was personally attacked by informants in his cases, and he's got this personal belief, I'm not going to go on any show that have platform informants. So that's how it is. So, I don't understand why someone would be upset with him. And then Scott Bernstein, I always respected him from Mafia Prince. I respected his knowledge, but it's unfortunate. He went down the path with Gunner, and now he's going down the path of now attacking someone like Joey Merlino. So I'm not sure what happened to him. It's a little disappointing.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your opinion on that, Tom? What do you just say?
From Scott's standpoint, Scott is, whether you like him or not, a completely legitimate author.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And he has now as evolved as a podcaster, I believe, and I hate to misspeak, I believe he has a legal background, and I believe it's either a prosecutor or was on the other side of the law. So the guy is, again, a treasure trove of knowledge. So that part of it is, one is, again, I'm just surprised that he did that. I don't count people's money. I'm very off-put when other people count other people's money. Hey, you go here for free, you pay for this, you pay for that. Very off-putting for me. So again, I'm not going to think bad about Scott. I have great respect for him. I look at his total body of work. But one, I'm surprised it was very off-brand. And number two, I'm just surprised he's going on like inconsequential shows. That's kind of surprising as well.
Well, I can't say it better than, well, I'm not touching that one, but you said it. And another thing that people have to understand is that if people want to talk to Joey Merlino, he's one of the few people, despite how popular he is, you could actually get a hold of him through Instagram. If he thinks that you're worth answering, he will answer you. Yeah. And he's answered me many times. And I even talked to him about the fact that he's been point blank. He don't like rats. And it's like James said, they had a big impact on his life. I mean, he's been through the court system. That hasn't happened to me. So I think that when it's happened to somebody, would they understand it better than people that it hasn't happened to? Would you say that's right, Tom?
I do. And what's interesting is that it's I know I'm going to get blasted in the comments, but just like anything in your career, right, whether you're a podcaster or, maitre d' at a restaurant or big executive, whatever you do, right, you learn as you go along, right? So when I started out about 7 years ago, and I was doing like non-mob content, I did interview some informants, and those numbers did really well. So like my opinion with technology, different podcasters and others, that you don't necessarily have to interview just informants to get your mafia knowledge. I'll give an example. I just wrapped up my second interview with Salvo, which is the son of Totorina, was arguably the most powerful mobster ever, right? Up there with Pablo Escobar in terms of criminals of all time. Pablo Escobar actually, in his son's book, looked up to Totorina and used his part of terrorism as part of a strategy. I'm not saying they're good guys, but their sons, is interesting to talk to their sons. I've talked to Pablo Escobar's wife. She's far from an informant. My point being is there is ways to get inside knowledge, and they don't talk about any criminality, but it's interesting to me to hear from the person who slept next to Pablo Escobar, from the son who in 1993 at 15 years old saw his father got picked up by the Carabinieri. So it's like, these are things that are profound, that are firsthand, that you don't need informants for. I just interviewed a really great interview, one of my first in studio with Jeff Canarsie. And Jeff, to me, he's a pacer guy. He looks at 302s, he matches them up, he takes the time to give research, he gives a little bit of insider knowledge. So I think the mob genre, for the better, is starting to swing the other way, where you have non-informants. I listen. Lawyers, prosecutors, that's their job. I interviewed Judge Gleason, who was a prosecutor. He gave some great knowledge. Mike Vecchione, who happened to put one of my friends.
And I'm sorry, I just want to get back while you are on Jeff Canarsie. I just like to make a statement about Jeff Canarsie here. I think it's very important. Okay. Jeff and I, we get angry at each other sometimes. We'll go at it. First of all, I thought your interview with him was very good.
Oh, thank you.
I only had issues with one little part, and it had nothing to do with the interview in itself. It was a statement. That's it.
I cut out. Hold on, I cut out the 20 minutes he was bashing you. Just kidding, Lee.
No. Yeah. Well, here's what I'm trying to say is, see, a lot of people attack Jeff Canarsie. Sometimes he has it coming because you'll say things sometimes that you regret saying maybe. But here's the reality: is people say a lot that he does not know Joey Merlino. Now I'm going to tell people this point blank: he does know Joey Merlino, and it's not a little. Instead of continuing that, he just says he knows Joey Merlino. No, he does. And he knows Joey Merlino more than most of us because he was involved with the trials with Joey Merlino. And that's the reality of it. And I'm just putting that out there because it's the right thing to do. And I do see Jeff get attacked and called a liar about that when he's not lying.
Well, you bring up a great point, because I got a lot of, but when you do decent numbers, I think it was at like all in about 25,000 views between his interview and the shorts. So when you get decent numbers like that, you're going to have some naysayers, people that are going to disagree with you, right? Even if it's 2%, you're looking at 500 people. So my point being is, some people that disagree with me interviewing him, and part of the reason was he was very critical of me in the past, and actually like made an award and kind of got on me a little bit. Number one, I get along with Jeff. I got along with Jeff, and let's just say I didn't get along with Jeff. We need to be able to talk to people that we disagree with. We need to be able to talk to people that we may not align with. Why? You may find some middle ground. You may find some opportunities. You may be able to live separately but respectfully. And that's what this genre hasn't had. And you see now it's going up to the higher levels in the genre where people are still being disrespectful. The other part is, again, going back to where do you want your knowledge, right? A lot of that stuff, like in OC Shorts, I think we're going to win now, because he takes whatever's out there. James Proctor is an example. He takes kind of what's out there and picks out some really interesting stuff. So I kind of see that as a pathway forward for the genre, and I think it's a good thing.
Yep, and we only wish that people the best, but the thing is to grow the proper way, the real way, and when you bust your horns doing your show, that's what the number one priority is. You want to do it for real, not for fake and pretend.
You got to look out for like red flags, right? Was somebody fired by a large media company, and then were they fired as a 1099 employee by YouTube with demonetization? You got to look out for these red flags and kind of say and challenge yourself and say, wait a second, it doesn't seem right. There seems to be a pattern here. Maybe saying somebody killed somebody who is not the person, and not like fully retracting. So like these are the kind of stuff where you guys consume your content. There's newer players in the game. There's direct from the horse's mouth. Like I said, to have Totorina's son on the screen is insane. So you're going to kind of get a lot more and better premium content from the genre. And I think you could maybe get away from some of the B players in that sense.
James?
Yeah. And so one of the things that you have to think of too is, so we have a relationship with Joey Merlino and Snuff, but they're not going to come on our show, because we know that they're not going to go on a show that has had informants in the past.
James, let me just say one thing.
I did interview Little Snuff, and we get along. I support the show.
Right.
I would love Joey on. I don't think he's going to come on anytime soon.
Right.
That's his decision. I respect that. But I had Little Stuff on, and it did pretty well. I did about, I think, 7,000 views on the video.
Okay, 1 second. I just want to finish. Okay, James, what you said is we have a relationship
Yeah, I
on
wanted to
Instagram.
explain that.
It's not a major relationship.
No,
Here's
no,
the
I
relationship.
know, but I want to
Okay,
explain
but we want to
something.
make that clear. But and James, you said this before. This is very important. Joey has given us permission.
Yes,
to
that's
use
the
his
point I was
image,
wanting to make.
to use parts of his show.
Yes.
And James and I were talking about this, and people have to understand that's very important because
Yes, we
right
promote,
now,
we help each other a little bit, you
yes,
know?
and his image, people want to see him. People want to
Yeah.
hear about whether people like this or not.
Yeah.
And the people complaining about him, no one really cares about your image. No one cares about what you're doing. You know, that's the reality. So you could say whatever you want. And James, I apologize about that, but you did say
No,
that.
no.
It was very important. I want to
Yeah,
get that out.
exactly. And so, you know, that's, you know, we're on the same page with that. So, yeah, and we see that benefit. You know, we benefit when we tag him. He benefits as well. He gets a lot of, you know, we appreciate. There's many times he's mentioned, you know, he'll he'll share something, or someone from his side will share something. All of a sudden, we get this huge uh, spurt of views and subs, and so we appreciate that so much. And so so what we do with it is that we're going to, he may not come on the show, but that doesn't mean there's not stuff that, you know, there's ways to collaborate in that type of arrangement from a promotion standpoint. And, you know, I think Joey's doing a great job with promoting the podcast that he's doing. You know, being out in public is the biggest statement, in my opinion. Being able to be seen in South Philly, in New York, that's a huge statement to anyone that watches watches his show.
Well, I will say this really quick.
Mm-hmm.
And please comment below. A year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, would you ever say, would Joey Merlino have his own podcast, number one? And as surprisingly, is he going to shout out Lee Cole? I fell off my chair when that happened. I still have a bruise. I fell off my chair. But you know what? This is why you got to pay attention to the tea leaves.
Yeah.
The genre is changing. The cheese is moving. Not for rats, but I'm saying the cheese in terms of the allegory. So my point being is the Lee Cole James Proctor show is now, and you can use this as a nice hot take. The Lee Cole. Let me restart it so you can do this for your reels. The Lee Cole and James Proctor show is now a force to be reckoned with in the mob genre, and the numbers are showing it.
And you know, I appreciate that because James and I were going over our numbers yesterday. Our numbers, there's only two other shows that are doing better than us right now, and they're both ex-mobsters.
Yeah, you're ahead of me right now. I think at peak, I think I did 1.5 million views all in at peak, and I think you're at that now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you know what? A lot of that is because we decided, and this is what Jeff Canarsi's doing too, is that we decided that we're going to work 3 phases of our show: the community page, the shorts, and the long form. It works, people. It works. It's like, if you're not doing it, it's on you.
It's not rocket science.
No, it's not. And you know, and that's why I was talking about Jeff Canarsi the other day. I was seeing that he had all 3 things going, and his numbers are going up now.
Mm-hmm.
He was stagnant there, and they're not.
Yeah.
So kudos to him.
Yeah.
Okay. James, what would you like to say about that?
No, I mean that's just about the show. Yeah, I mean, and that's what we're here to do. I mean, we want to bring out, and we do this. We bring out our opinions. You know, we're not kissing Joey's ass. We don't kiss anybody's ass on here, but we will. You know, we haven't 100% agreed with him or anyone on here, but we're.
And James, give him an example of what we didn't agree on, if you don't mind.
Yeah, like Michael Francis, we didn't think that on Sonny Francis, we didn't think that was the best way of approaching that, you know, saying that he considered, and I think that also Joey might have mentioned that he didn't call him a rat in that sense. He said that doing that was the same in his eyes or something, but to me is still not something I would have put out there, you know, with a guy that's over 100 years old.
Yeah.
and we made it clear. And
Also, really
I'm sorry,
quick,
Tom. Tom. We made it clear, and Joey respected that and moved on, and we got to respect his view. That's it. Not do a show and attack him.
that's what I said earlier. You need to be able to talk to people that you need to be able to talk to people, kind of like Italians at any holiday. There's hands in the table, wine flowing, and there's disagreements, but you're welcome to disagree. But at the end of the day, you still love and respect each other. But really quick, I just actually I just put a short up, like a 3-minute short. But I interviewed Lou Ferrante, who was an ex Gambino associate, got out of the life, and I just want to bring a good point that he was the host of the Gangsters Code, was like on Nat Geo, had like a best-selling author 5 times over, launching a new book, and I had him on, and he's not an informant at all. He actually detests informants. There's no paperwork on him. If anything, he is still good friends with many people in that life that day. He's out of the life, but he's still friends with them. So that, again, bringing my point up that you can interview people and you could have a show and get good knowledge and not be informant based. Now, one of the challenges is it's kind of like being a little pregnant. Some people feel if you interview one informant, that's enough. And again, I respect their opinion, but I try to have an open platform and look at both sides.
Yeah, and you know what you're really good at is you're a good opportunist today, Tom. You just keep getting things out there.
You know,
It was a joke. It was a joke.
No, as a
People
marketer,
accuse me of that.
as a marketer, I want to do a test. I want to do a test.
Yeah.
Please. If you can, my show's New Theory Podcast, formerly Armchair MBA, pick any video and just say Lee sent me. I want to see how many people watch this and say, you know what, I'm going to check out Tom's channel, or I know Tom's channel already, and I want to see how many do it. Lee, if it's over 100, I'll send you guys some Uber Eats for lunch tomorrow.
No. You know, I want that thing that shaves your head. They got this new thing. It does a really good job.
I could probably use it. I actually got pitched that. It's this one that like it's this like roller like thingy, but yeah.
Okay, and you know, now that we're talking like that, Tom, I've had your name underneath my last 5-6 videos down there with people that have helped the show, and Tommy Stiggs, and also I will be doing that with Jeff Canarsie, and the reason being, the direction his show is going and the way he's doing it, I think people should look at shows like yours, like mine, and like Jeff's, and see the way we're growing our shows and what we're doing right.
Correct.
You know, and don't be attacking our shows because you don't like that we're growing. We're just doing it right, and I hope that that's the thing that people don't understand, Tom, is that everybody on YouTube has this opportunity, and if they follow this opportunity.
I have a hard stop in a minute, but I've been very fortunate. I got invited to be part of this like YouTube community group, and I couldn't go to the first one because I didn't get the P19. I don't want to demonetize you, so I couldn't go. You had to go.
Right.
I couldn't go. Now they freed it up, and there was a bet in New Jersey on Monday. But I just couldn't get away with the kids. But like, I want to get more involved with YouTube. I want to get more involved with media. That's why, so I'll give you an example. I interviewed Mark Lohr, who started this Wonder Group, got bought out by Jeff Bezos, got bought out by Walmart. He's a billionaire, lives in New Jersey. I had a phenomenal interview with him, and it did well. It did like 18,000 views. My point being is, there's room for content out there and room for mob content, and I'm going to try to find that balance. But my point being is, I think things are turning around for everyone, for the channels that aren't breaking the rules.
Well, I agree with you 100%. And I wanted to ask you one final. You said you have to leave shortly.
I have a hard stop. I got to jump here.
Okay, so I just want to ask you one final question, and after that, that'll be it.
Awesome.
Okay, so you've seen an interview the other day. Do you think that that interview was done more out of jealousy, anger? What was the main reason you think that was done?
Okay, so, well, you may not like this answer, but so in my opinion, and I didn't see the whole interview, I only saw what you and I and Angel reviewed. I couldn't sit through that. It was rough. It was rough to watch. So rage, click, sell in the short term, and I think he was just trying to get some, they call them rage clicks, drama clicks, and I think he was just trying to get some extra views to to kind of grow his new future demonetized channel. I think it was a rage click play to get people to come on to his new platform, which is going to be demonetized as well. And that's what I think it was. I think it was just simply a play to try to stir the pot, stir drama, not necessarily true jealousy, because I don't think they're jealous of him. I don't think true anger or disbelief. I just think it was off brand for Bernstein. I think it was Jeff at a desperate attempt to try to be relevant.
Okay, well, I appreciate that, and those are your words, not mine.
Ciao.
Thanks.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tom wasn't holding back there, so now Jeff has a reason to be alive. But anyway, we're just being honest here, people, because if people, if James, you remember when I went to see Sammy and everybody had an opinion and everybody did a show on it, and most of the shows were negative?
Yeah.
So we're all entitled to our opinions here. As long as we do it respectfully.
Right. Well, yeah, and it's interesting that the thing is what's different on that is people might not agree with it, but at the same time, it was entertaining as hell. People, I know that you got hit in the temple, but people.
But it's like it's like another person said last night that I haven't gotten along with in a couple of years.
Yeah.
That person said, "Oh, well, it worked out for Lee."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it worked out, but the thing,
it did work out for us.
Yeah, but
it worked out for both of us.
Right. And that's what I was going to say is that, but with that said, what we're doing is we're working it hard. We're working, putting a lot of time and effort. And like I said, it's that three-legged stool of the community page, the shorts and the long form. And we're doing all that. And it's like both of us are, working on this as hard as the other. But we're seeing some benefit from it, but at the same time, we're putting out history, we're putting out stuff, but we also know that for most people, it's the entertainment value, and we have to be entertaining as much as being informative. So, we're trying to have that right balance as well.
And I agree with that. And so we pretty much we have to say we think that first of all, we think it's a mistake for people to be going after Joey the way they're going after him. It's one thing if you have a good reason, but when you're doing it because it seems like jealousy, maybe you can't get you're not going to be able to get him on your show, and you realize it. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's better to just keep peace in the air with that situation. But we worked hard on this show. We've been mentioned by Michael Francis. We've been mentioned by Sammy Gravano. We've been mentioned by Joey. This show, we are just a couple of Joes doing a show, and we do get mentioned. So if other people don't like that, oh, well, I got an idea. Go do your show, do it better, and you'll be mentioned. James, you finish it off.
Yeah, a year ago before I joined, they were saying when you lost, when you didn't have Danny Trio, that you wouldn't be able to survive this and everything. And it was funny, and you did well on your own. You were on your own for several months, and then I joined, and you hear people try to say, oh, well, I'm doing all the work, you're not, and we both know that's not true. And plus, you made the decision to give me a chance. You already had 7,000 or 8,000 subscribers before I even joined, and for me, I saw it as an opportunity because the reality is that someone with no experience behind a camera coming in and with an established show, that doesn't happen. And I appreciated that. And you gave me a chance because you saw, some stuff, I had the rough edges, but you saw talent beneath that. And I appreciate that.
You have the voice. I always said, you got the voice. You do your shorts with your voice. People love the voice, the way you do the shorts. And research is very difficult to do.
I love it.
I'm that not a part researcher I love. Like you. But, it's like we, as a team, we work good together. I got up this morning at 6 o'clock. I put up some pictures on Peter Gotti on the community page. Got great
Yes.
feedback on that. I put up a short with John A. Light talking about John Gotti. Great feedback on that. Now we'll put up this video. That's 3 things that we did within a 4-hour period. That's how
Yes.
we work together. And
Yes.
and you know, Christmas is here, people. I just like to say Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yep. Merry
And
Christmas.
Happy New Year's. And if you celebrate Hanukkah, Happy Hanukkah. And any other holidays you celebrate. And also, please subscribe. As you see running underneath here, hit the like button, the reminder bell. Please hit that. That's very important. And if you want to donate to the show, you're more welcome to donate to the show. If not, totally understand. Also, we have a second channel that we are putting a lot of work into, and that's where we have another interview we just did the other day on Patreon, and you can only see it on Patreon. And that's Angel Gotti's. We have a show with her, and it's my father's daughter. And it's a Patreon. The Patreon link will be below this. And also, we have a wrestling channel. That's our third channel. Please go over there and sub. It's called Wrestling with the Devil. And we'll be getting much busier in the new year on that. We've kind of slacked back and leaning back because we have so much going into this channel.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, people, I like to say, James, close it out and say whatever you got to say.
No, just appreciate this year. You know, we're going to do a live or 2 before the end of the year, right? So we got some things going, but you know, we're just going to keep plugging away, and you know, just appreciate everyone's comments, everyone's engagement with our videos, and I just wish everyone, you know, a great week and holiday season.
Thanks a lot, my man. I appreciate it. Everybody, take care.